Yeah, so I'm today want to walk you through a little bit through a typical situation or a solution we have, a management system, especially for the logistics industries. And someone, I think, yesterday asked me, Alex, what's your business about? And I told him, well, we are building management systems, brackets, based on Semantic MediaWiki for years now, for 13 years now. And that's our main business. So yes, we are a wiki company, or more specifically a Semantic MediaWiki company. But we focus on building management systems for our customers. So that's also the way we are marketing the things. And yeah, Semantic MediaWiki was part or the foundation of the whole systems from the very beginning. So that's essential to the systems. And that's also what makes it a little bit different from other management systems in the market. So today I want to show you such a system for the logistics industries. So logistics is not only carrying goods from A to B. It's more often also very complex. So it includes warehousing, for example, or packaging. So it's more than just truck drivers' business. And like any other organization, a logistics company needs to comply with laws, regulations, directives, but especially also additional ones, depending on what goods they deal with. For example, if they work for the pharma industry, they need to deal with a lot of pharma stuff. If they work for the chemical industry or food industry, they have to comply with many of those rules. So on top of the rule set, or the requirements, to be more precise, that you have already in a normal organization, you have to do much, much more. So this makes the whole management system approach much more complex. And what that means, I will show you in our system. So I don't have much slides this time, so just live view. So that's basically it. So we have our management system here. Chameleon skin, and from the very beginning we had a model where we were building on business objects. So we take a look, what are the customers dealing with? So they're dealing with people, you have teams in your organization, you have meetings and all kind of things, and that's where we coined the term semantic apps. That's something we carry around for 13 years now also, and that's what you basically see here in these quick dial tabs. That's, for example, the people app, or the meetings app, or processes app. And what does it mean, app? I mean, this was at the time where the smartphones became more accepted, and the app term comes from. Basically, it's a namespace, a category, a form, and a set of properties. So that's a reusable set, ontology, plus the content structures in SMW. And here we have a lot of them in a management system. So that's what you can see on the quick dial tabs here, but also in the menu. For example, in the Who menu, you have various apps. In the When menu, you have these meetings, sprints, and blah, blah stuff, where, and so on, what, and so on. So this is a lot of things. And the cool stuff about these apps is they're working together. So it's like Lego building blocks. So you can combine them, and they are interlinked. So if you build a whole system based on that semantic apps, everything fits very well. But you see, it's super complex. I mean, this takes 2 days of training if I want to walk you through everything. So I want to focus on one piece, that's the subject areas we see here. And the what did I do? Who was this? Huh? Mein WLAN ist aus, warum? Stimmt, mein WLAN ist aus. Statt Ihnen was, gell? Hey. How could it be that WLAN is off? Okay, here we go. Thanks, Luke. It's a live system. So back to the subject areas. Well, that's a very broad term, not very sharp, but the subject areas that holds the different, for example, standards or directives you have to deal with, or the laws, and the various topics, so to say. And yeah, every business is a little bit different. You have some more common ones, like the ISO 9001, for example. But then for the logistics, for example, they have to deal with food logistics. So they need to comply to IFS Logistics. You see there's some versioning going on here. Recently, this version 3 of the IFS Logistics standard has been released. With chemical logistics, they have to deal with different sets. So what's in there? So if we look at the ISO, you might know this already. Take a look here. And I go here to one of the PowerPoints. You probably have seen this somehow. This is a siloed knowledge, so to say it in the words Carsten already used this morning. It's not very accessible. So it's a PDF container containing all the requirements you have to comply with, and that's the document. It looks like this usually. You have your sections, and within the sections you have at some point the requirements. So they are somewhere here in these text blobs, not very accessible. The IFS logistics standards, they use, of course, a different layout, a different granularity, but also they have requirements. At the end of the day, you have to comply to all of these, independent of their formatting and stuff. So it's really hard to track everything. You have overlapping requirements, you have more general requirements, you have very specific requirements, but at the end of the day, the auditor will ask you, hey, please show me how you comply to those requirements. And that makes it hard, and the more of those standards you have to follow, the harder your audits get. And what we did here in the subject areas, let me show this for the 9001 area. So it's quality management, ISO. So here we have this section. We also have in the PDF. I have the German content part here. Let's check in the support part here. So we broke down this PDF stuff and put it into SMW. So per sentence basis, so to say, not literally copying, pasting the text, but also trying to, from the language perspective, making it similar, formulating in an active voice, and so on. And that's in here. So this chapter 7 has a lot of requirements. You see them here, and each of these requirements has its own page. And if we look behind the scenes, browsing the properties, we have broken down those requirements into snackable pieces we like to consume. And now they are getting comparable or easier to combine, or also if you want to feed your LLM with that, you can construct nice reading chunks from this. So that's the core of everything. So we break this down and get a huge set of requirements. Well, then at the end of the day, you have this catalog here in this subject area part I showcased you here. Now, this defines what needs to be done, not how you do. How you do is in the how menu and in the process sections. So that's also one part I think I showed already some years ago, where we used the BPMN editor and integrated this into the system. And beside of these requirements packages, we also have them for sale, of course. So this is ready to consume packages, content packages. We also have ready modeled libraries, for example, for the 9001. Let's dive into this again. Let's go into the approving processes, like doing the internal audits. You go there. And this is really a very fine-grained model of what actually is written in the 9001 as a BPMN representation. And you have these various steps here. Of course, I can zoom in because you can definitely not read this. So let's go here. So you have to collect documents for the review, which kind of documents, and so on. So the good thing here, or what's a little bit special, this is not just the diagram. You can directly edit it inside the wiki. So here's the editor. And the cool stuff, we integrated this into the semantics world as well. So if I choose a participant here and I double click on it, I get a dialog opened that is populated with content from my role app. So I have here in my Who menu a list of roles I can manage as wiki pages. And this now takes what the semantic already knows. Don't repeat yourself. That's what I would say to this. Don't repeat yourself. Content needs to be managed at one place, single point of truth, and then reuse it everywhere. This has a very nice effect. If we now change the name of the wiki page, our diagrams also automatically gets updated. So wherever you have a role used as a participant and you rename your wiki page and you again approach at your BPMN page, it refreshes the XML in background and everything's up to date. So you don't have to worry like in Germany we have these agenda asterisks, like you don't have Geschäftsführung, oder Geschäftsführer, you have Geschäftsführer Sternchen in, so male and a female representation of a role description. So if you want to do this in pure documents and you have 300,000 documents in a Dropbox, wow, nightmare. Here you go to one place, rename your page, you're done, you don't have to worry about it. And this works for different pieces, like here for these, you can select data objects, which is filled from a document app and other places in the wiki. We also have navigation included, so if I cancel this out here, I can click on that one, and it brings me to exactly this process step. So we have per activity in the BPMN diagram a page in the wiki. So this is completely integrated, so completely seamless. Why I'm telling you this? Because if I'm on such a process page, let's go back. I can model the regular page here directly as a form. And here again our subject areas appear. Now you can link the what needs to be done with the how it is done. And that's perfect for your audit situation. You can easily create a gap analysis. Which requirements has been covered where? How are they covered? Are they good? Are they okay? Are they to improve? Are there some gaps somewhere? Is something missing at all? This happens, while I can link here, like this process, let's say, deals with some 9001 chapter. Let's say this is this chapter, and this deals with exactly these three requirements. Save it, done. And the cool thing is this is multi-select. So let's say this is not only covering 9001 pieces, but maybe also something regarding from the SQRS core. Then this is added here as well. So it's really multi-selectable. So, and here we have this integrated management system approach. That's exactly the integration. So we integrate the various requirement sources. So that's an important piece. The next one, the next one, I go back to my slides quickly. This is something we did recently for the customer. Well, we had some QR codes in the wiki for years also, like you can manage products and product instances. So for example, if you have your equipment here, your assets or your infrastructure pieces, your inventory pieces, you can add them to the wiki as products or product instances, and we had already these QR code stuff. Let me go to one of those pages. So it's product instances, and I want to check out this gate, for example. So that's our gate. That's very common in these warehousing stuff. So they have some QR codes already. And here this auto means it's auto-created. That's simply the URL of the wiki address of that page. So the idea was like, well, you can print this, take your scissors, stick it on the item. But of course, this is not practical. And the customer, we've been working with the new approaches, like they have to deal with inspection-related inventory. I'm not sure if this is the correct term, inspection related. So everything you need to have inspection logs regularly, like with your forklifts or with your elevators or with your fire doors or with your doors and gates, everything you have to put a sticker on it and check regularly. This is inspection related equipment. At least that's the term I learned. Now what was the requirement there? They said, well, it's nice that we have the wiki, but we don't have everything already in the wiki. So we start building the inventory in the wiki. But how do we do this? We walk around in our sites. We have to go somewhere. We go room by room, and then just what we see, we put the QR code on. So, but we cannot carry around the whole QR printer stuff, print it, type it in. It will be a nightmare. So what we want to have is like we want to have some placeholders. Like let's say a roll with 100 QR codes. And then we stick it somewhere and just assign it to something in the wiki afterwards. And that's a little bit trickier than I first thought, honestly. So the approach here is now, it looks very simple, but it was a little bit tricky. So we have a QR code section here to manage the QR codes. And at the moment, I only have 2. And you see, this is already empty cards. They are not yet assigned. So it's just a page in the QR code. Do it like this so you can better see the namespace. So it's just a QR namespace, QR number 1. And this is a dispatch page. So when I now scan this QR code, I will arrive at this dispatcher page. And this tells me at the moment this QR code is not yet assigned. So when I'm in field, I just take the next sticker, put it, scan it, go to that page, click on the edit QR code. Then I pick either, is it a building I want to put a sticker on, like an entrance door? Is it an existing product instance? Is it a new product instance? Something is missing here, I see. Ruin something. I'm missing the. So usually this switches around, something I messed up probably while preparing. So you get some forms. So for example, for room existing, you can pick one of the rooms, and then things become interlinked again. Now I can, when I scan the page, first we are directly redirected. So that's a little bit tricky. So you have a page QR1 that should later be an alias for, in this case, our room. So this was the first approach. You scan it and you directly go to this page. In the meanwhile, they want to also do inspection logs in that room. And this comes again from something like such a requirement document. Because what do they have? So you have a lot of text, of course, in it. This is about doors and gates. Don't know if this is typical German approach, that you have really to specify each and every individual element, how doors have to be operated. You see, you can write documents of 100, like, of course, this is all these ouch images, blah, blah, blah. So at the end, you have something like, so they have these kind of checkboxes and inspection logs. So, this is how such an inspection log would look like. So it's just an okay, not relevant tick. And we did not even try to create for all cases those kind of forms. This was the first thing. Oh, let's create some forms. We get endless revenue for this, and then we closed the company in a year and are rich forever. So this will not work. Got stuck in the budget negotiation. So anyway, now what we came up with is again our model starting from the requirements, and that's something we are currently building. It's not yet 100% finished, but I think I can give you the idea. So let's get back to the subject areas. Here again we have our doors and gates thing we looked at the recently. So go here. And now I have related active requirements. I have this Antrieb thing, which is exactly this one here. So I have Antrieb, and I can add another requirement, like I deal with these control interfaces, just to give you the idea, blah, blah. And then I can add something like audit questions, like clicked on something crazy. Okay, so it's not really a question, but just to give you the idea. And then I can say, okay, this requires inspection, yes. It's a qualitative, so it's a checkbox approach. Quantitative would be to measure pressure, whatever, so more the quantity approach, but for the qualitative you can say it's okay, not okay, or yes or no, or whatever, so customers can change this. So basically this at the end is something like a form builder. I save this. So that's prepared now. So if I now go to one of those doors, let's go back to one of the product instances. So this is one of those gates. And here I can now do some inspection logs. And because this is part of a product category, doors and gates, that are, maybe I forgot to show you this, which is linked to this doors and gates requirements set. You can add this new one too. This is exposed to the instance. So now things sounds complicated, but it's like you inherit the requirements on each instance you have of these items. So I can now do an inspection log. Let's see if this works. Yeah, exactly. So, and based on what I've created before, I now dynamically have this form where I can just fill in the yes, no, blah, blah stuff, and I can do the inspection logs. I have 1 minute left. Ha, you took my minutes. No, again, it's okay. This was just to give you a rough idea. I can continue hours, but then you would run out of caffeine probably. So it was a little bit focused on the requirement stuff, but I think you got the idea. And if you have any questions, maybe also regarding the other things you saw here in the app section, you can talk to us. We are here. Thanks.
Questions already?
Oh,
yes, I would have a question regarding those audits. How do you deal with the open world assumption? Because in an audit, you probably want to know how many of those items do not have subject area addressed, but you can only count this if you add extra properties probably.
Yeah, at the moment they really have this issue because during each of the previous audits they got some issues because they don't have a catalog of all the items. So they are somehow under pressure to get a complete list of at least those inspection relevant items. And now they're approaching it like we don't have a catalog that we can get from IT, for example, or from the purchase department, like an inventory. They don't have it in that detailed level. They have the purchased items, of course, but they don't have it with regard to if they are inspection relevant or not. So this information is missing. So what they are doing is really some field work. They have to walk around and check each of these things and collect it and put the sticker on it, actually. Otherwise, you can, of course, start from the very beginning. If you have a nice data set, of course, you would first fill the wiki with all rooms you have, with all IT assets you have, with all your forklift you have, whatever. That's also working. So then you just pick in this dispatcher page an existing product instance and you're done. So can do it from both sides.
The fastest way if I'm asking something. Thanks for your presentation, Alexander. So you were so brave enough to mention renaming wiki pages, right? And stating that automatically all the link diagrams were updated, if I got it correctly. Do you have a view where you see the dependencies? So before I rename the page, that I see how many diagrams I would automatically touch. So kind of backlink thinking before I do the renaming, because sometimes this tells you also about inconsistencies.
Yes, you don't get a warning in the interface, like if you rename this, as a result you get 50 process pages renamed. But due to the fact that it is semantically described, like we saw the swim lane with the role assignment, that's not only in the diagram, this is also part of the annotations. And I can, of course, look into the annotations and see what links here, so to say. But that's, let's say, core functionality of MediaWiki, and also the renaming mechanisms, standard MediaWiki things, so that also with SMW, if you rename a property, this automatically works.